So welcome everyone to Poetry Sunday, continuing with our ongoing multi-part, never-ending haiku workshop. So let's see what we've got for this week. Okay, good. So you're all seeing this screen here with haiku for July 4th?
Yes.
Yep. Okay,
Yes.
good. Okay. So heat loosens creosote smoke. Collards shrink in the brown bag. I hold the key to its lock. Heat loosens creosote, smoke. Collards shrink in the brown bag. I hold the key to its lock. So talk to me. What are you seeing here? What are you getting here? We always start with on the literal.
Lunch.
Always start on the literal level. I say this every week, but we have to remind ourselves. Always start on the literal level. What's the narrative? What's the basic situation? Is it clear? So would someone tell us what's the basic literal situation here?
Collected ashes.
I'm sorry, say it again, Lula.
Collected ashes.
Collecting ashes from what? From where?
The fire that occurred earlier, but it's gone. Heat.
Yeah, someone help me out, because this word creosote, which is a lovely word, what a beautiful word that is, creosote. That doesn't sound like anything. That doesn't sound like anything else. I'm only aware of creosote as the kind of pitch stuff that they paint onto the surfaces of telephone poles to protect them from termites, I think it is.
But it's a plant. It's a desert plant.
Oh, is it? Aha.
That's what it's. Yeah. Okay.
It's a
Yeah.
desert plant. Okay.
Yes.
So, I mean, collards, I assume this is collards as in collard greens, which is a plant that's, you cook them, you eat them. What's going on? I hold the key to its lock. Okay, what does its refer to? The lock to what?
Heat?
The lock to heat?
I'm confused.
Yeah, I'm confused too. So the literal, and something very interesting is going on here. I mean, there's some words here. I'm really enjoying the flavors of these words: smoke, creosote, collards. But I don't know what's going on, and that's
what I
gotta.
saw when the middle line, they shrink in the heat of the brown bag,
Right.
which could be a lunch or something
Right.
that has shrunk.
Right.
And the key to its, I hold the key to it.
But would you
It could be a fork. It could be hold the key to its lock.
Yeah. It's not clear. Lock to what? And I don't know. I mean, if you're gonna, you can't eat collards without cooking them. But would you carry cooked collards in a brown bag? That's going to be a mess.
No.
Loose creosote, and there's smoke.
Yeah.
Creosote,
By the way,
it's a dark brown oil from coal.
What? I'm sorry. Say it again, Lulu.
It's a brown oil distilled from coal.
A brown oil distilled from coal. Right. That's the stuff that they paint onto the telephone poles.
right, and it comes from the Greek words for meat and preserver.
Meat and preservative.
Preserver.
Preserver. Really? Huh.
Well,
Yeah.
preserves the
But it's a petroleum product. I know what that stuff smells like.
It cannot be for food.
Yeah. So I don't know what's going on here. So I would, it looks like and I don't remember who wrote this, but whoever wrote it, I would really recommend. It seems like you've got something interesting going on here. Some interesting experience, sensory experiences and some juicy words. But look, let's talk about mystery. There's two kinds of mystery. The one kind of mystery is basically what we've got here, which is, what are the basic facts? We're confused. It's not clear. Okay. That's not the kind of mystery we're looking for in haiku. That might be a mystery in a mystery novel, that'll in chapter 1. And by the last chapter, our detective hero is going to straighten it out. The kind of mystery that we're going for in haiku is where the fact is completely clear. It's like, okay, what do I have here? I've got a mug full of cappuccino, right? There's no confusion about that. But I look down into it, I'm looking down at the white foam, and I'm looking, even though, in terms of, I can describe what I'm seeing, okay, white foam, but there is just this basic irreducible mystery of life, right? What you see when you look up into the sky, you're looking up into the sky. There's no confusion about that, but it's like what is this all about, right? That deep mystery, but to launch into that, the launching pad for launching into that mystery in the depths of life is that on the surface, on the literal surface that we're describing, things have to be clear. Otherwise, we're going to trip there and not be able to get into the deep mystery. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Is that okay? Okay, it's a little bit difficult thing to convey, but let's see what we do in the next year. Okay. Gates open, friends, laughter, smiles. A year went by. Gates open, friends, laughter, smiles. A year went by.
2020.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's 2020. And is the basic situation, right, on the surface, the literal situation in this case, is it clear?
Yes.
Yes, it is. It is, right?
Yes.
We're opening our gate to our friend. It's not 100% clear. Are we opening the gate and the friends are coming to our house, or they're opening the gate, we're going to their house? But either way, it's pretty much the same situation. So that's fine. That's fine. What else about it?
There is a feeling of sorrow in there as well.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. There's the sorrow for the
year went by.
Yeah.
this, yeah, the sorrow for the lost year. We're all familiar with that. And that kind of wistfulness, that kind of nostalgia is very much, you know, part of the domain of haiku. So yeah, that's good. That works. What else?
I would interpret gates open as the heart open.
I'm sorry, say it
Oh,
again.
yeah.
The
Heart.
first line when it says gates
Yeah.
open, I interpret it as the heart, whoever wrote it, that he or she, the heart was open.
Yeah, that's definitely being, that's evoked. That's the, you know, and we can say, another way we can say this is that the haiku is like a pebble that we drop on the surface of the still lake.
Right.
Right. And then the ripples go out, ripples of meaning, ripples of implication, ripples of feeling go out. And, you know, if it's really a good one, they may go out and out and out and out. So yeah, that implication is there. I think you're right. Yeah, that's very nicely done. Now, in another kind of writing, in another kind of poetry, we might say gates open, hearts open.
Right.
But you can see here in haiku that would be too much. That would be that we keep things as spare as possible, and we just leave that implied rather than spelling it out. Is there anything here that's kind in terms of the basic, the ground rules of haiku? Anything here that bothers you, that or at least grabs your attention?
It's 3 syllables, 4 syllables, 4 syllables.
Okay, so Tejas, we in some of the earlier sessions, which you've not been to, I explained why you should throw out that whole business about writing in 5/7/5. Okay, that's the short version is that that applies to Japanese. It doesn't work in English. Japanese is much more discursive than English. English, if you're writing 5/7/5, you're probably writing too much. B, and this is much more important, unless you're really, really good, unless you've been doing this for years, my experience is that when people try to write them in 5/7/5, they wind up torturing the language, making the language unnatural to fit that pattern, which is exactly the opposite of what we're going for. We're going for the thing should feel so natural. It should feel and sound like it just like an apple that fell from the tree. Right. In fact, I'm going to lay down a new rule starting for the ones you submit for next week. Do not submit any with 5/7/5. I will not accept them because I'm still seeing some of them here where I can see I can see you hustling to make the 5/7/5 pattern work. And it's at best, it's a distraction from the real agenda of the haiku. Right. It can make you feel, oh, okay, I made 5/7/5 work, therefore it's a successful haiku. But, you know, that brings us back to my favorite, my favorite haiku parody, haiku, right? Haiku are easy, but sometimes they don't make sense. Refrigerator, right? 5/7/5. Right? 5/7/5. Yeah. So don't do that. Okay. The thing I want to point out that should be calling to you. A year went by.
Past.
It's the past, and it's like giving us a a time span of a year here. What is the time span of haiku? It's immediate. It's a moment. It's a snapshot. You know, if maybe a few seconds at best.
The went.
Yeah, the when. I mean, we could, you know, we can play with that. Maybe something like after a year, something like that. You know, in other words, okay, we're here in this moment. It's a year since we've seen each other. You know, we can play with the syntax a little bit. Also, this is a little hard to make this work as haiku because it's so damn happy. You know, haiku is usually, as I said, usually the mood, not always, but it tends to be more wistful, more, you know, where, and we know this is wistful. Well, putting the after a year in the third place adds the wistful that we've missed a year together. You know, laughter and smiles may be a bit much, right? Maybe a bit redundant. We always look for we always try cutting out anything we can cut out. See if it's better. Usually anything you can cut, you should cut. Let's move on. Yucca blooms, candlesticks like the mountains lit. Yucca blooms, candlesticks like the mountains lit.
Okay, I can relate to this
Yeah,
because I yucca plants where
right.
I live, and they're known as the Lord's candle.
The Lord's candle. Wow,
Oh,
I love that.
because they have these beautiful white
Mhm.
flowers when they bloom,
Mhm.
and it looks like candlesticks all
Right.
over the mountains.
Yes. Yes.
So
Mhm.
I can relate to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So those of you who are not from California, you know what yucca looks like? Okay, so you can look it up afterward because they are quite beautiful and they are unique to
Yeah.
this part of the continent. Yeah, it's a lovely image, isn't it?
Mhm.
Good. What else? And again, and look at the simplicity of this. The simplicity really works. The immediacy really works. Is there anything that is, you know, potentially problematic? Anything that we got to at least think about? Is this okay?
Middle line, candlesticks like that kind of
The
Yeah,
like is
take away the light.
Yeah, the like makes it
mhm.
well, technically that makes it simile, right? It's a stated metaphor. If you say my love is like a red rose, that's simile. If you say my love is a red rose, that's metaphor. Either simile or metaphor is a little suspect in haiku. Because usually we want to deal with things make them as literal as possible. But so let's try at least being more sneaky about it. You know, at least if we take out the word like.
Put it on the last line instead of the mountain, like mountains lit. No, it's not gonna work. Sorry.
And sticks.
Okay, here's what I would think about doing. And you tell me why.
Yes.
Better.
Yeah, why is that better?
It
This is
gives
right
you
now.
the immediate picture.
Yeah, and why is that? It's because now we have this active verb here, right? Light here is the verb, it's the action word. So now something happens in the last line. rather than just describing kind of passively a situation, here's this thing that happens. You know, ideally in the haiku, the third line, that's where the miracle happens. That's where the kensho, that's where the aha unfolds,
Okay.
right? And here, oh, it lights up. Even though the reality is, okay, the yuccas have been out there. That's a continuing situation. But see, here's the miracle of language. By using this active word, it's as if in this moment, and really it's the, always really haiku is about the observer's experience. This is really the moment. It's not the moment where objectively the mountains suddenly light up with yucca, but it's the moment where subjectively the observer realizes, oh, this is like these beautiful candles lighting up the mountains. So that active verb in the third line makes that happen. You see what I'm saying? You see the difference?
Yeah.
Yes.
Could you read it again, please? Because I'm not on video.
Yes. Yucca blooms, candlesticks light the mountains. And I would add a dash here at the end of the first line or you know what, even better in this case, I would add a colon. Yucca blooms. And then the colon then makes it clear that what comes next, what comes after, is going to be expanding on what we've said there. Yucca blooms, candlesticks like the mountains. Otherwise, you see here, it sounds like yucca blooms, candlesticks like the mountains lit. It all runs together. We need the separation here. Either the colon or the dash maybe is visually a little more dramatic. By the way, I don't know if I've said this before, you know how we try to be as sparing as possible with everything in haiku, as few words as possible. We use, usually we don't use capital letters. And we're as sparing as possible with punctuation, right? You'll see very few commas, very few periods. You will never see a semicolon. The semicolon, the ugliest of punctuation marks. It's the camel of punctuation marks. What you'll see is the dash and the colon, and that's about it. And sometimes
Not that bad.
what did you say,
It's
Jay?
not that bad.
I
like me a nice, well put semicolon.
Yeah. I know it shows everyone you've been to college.
Oh yes, it's the cliche.
Yeah. No, I've been dealing with this because the semicolon used to be my favorite punctuation mark. Okay. As you are, I once was, young man.
Well, my favorite is the dash.
Yeah.
The M dash is my favorite.
The M dash, if used correctly. A lot of people, I can see you're very tuned into this, use it in a very slapdash way because they're not thinking with precision. But in my first couple of books, I used a lot of semicolons because I loved the nuance of it, the in between period and comma, and then I finally came to realize that it just started looking ugly to me. It just started looking cluttered and ugly, and the book I'm actually now. This book I've been working on, my deadline to submit my manuscript to the publisher is August 1st. So I've finished writing all the chapters, and I'm now in the middle of going through rereading all of them, and I'm every time I see a semicolon, there's very few left, but I try to get rid of every semicolon I see. Usually I'll replace it with a colon, always try a period instead, so forth. Hello, Yehudit. Good to see you. Glad you could join us.
I apologize I forgot. We are watching the 4th of July Beach Boys playing music, and I forgot.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I apologize.
Okay. Well, this will be
on time.
Okay. No problem. This will be on my YouTube channel, so you can see what you missed.
Okay,
Dean,
okay.
Uh,
Dean, I
You
think it
already-
was.
okay. Did you
yeah,
talk
Scott?
about my,
Yeah, I think it was last week you said not a dash, a hyphen, or vice versa. And I always thought they were the same. Can you explain just very quickly the difference?
Okay, let me just quickly. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me,
I thought it's the same key on the keyboard, dash or hyphen.
it's they're keyboard combinations. Okay. So that's a hyphen. This is
I can't see. I can't
Oh.
see. I'm on the phone.
Oh, okay. Forget about it. I can't do this without showing it to you.
Isn't it
Okay.
called?
Okay,
Isn't
let
it-
me just say a hyphen is short. A hyphen is short. What usually people call a dash is long. Tejas, with great precision, called it an M dash because it is the width of a capital M in any given font. And there's also something in between called an N dash, which is the width of an N. And Tejas,
Okay.
Tejas, for the bonus point, do you know how to use an N dash?
Oh, no, actually.
Okay, an N dash, maybe one person in 1,000 knows this if they don't do this professionally. An N dash is when you write a range of numbers or years. Like 1951 through 1959, you use the N dash.
Oh,
And you use it for compounds such as okay, there's a newspaper in Louisiana called the New Orleans Times-Picayune. So in between Times and Picayune, you put an N dash, because if you put a hyphen, it's too short, and it looks like the New Orleans. I don't want to get into it much more, but anyway, look it up. And Scott, you can look up, just Google, how do I make an M dash, depending on whether you're on a Mac or a PC, and you'll get the answer.
Right.
Okay. All right. Next.
Dean,
Yes.
Dean?
Yes.
Dean,
Yes, Yehudi.
This was my try. The change, I'm trying to understand. The change was not expressing what I wanted to say about the yucca plants. When the mountain was full of yucca plants, it's not that the candles lit the mountains. The yucca plant who looked like candles.
Yeah, we know that. We had a whole.
Like the mountain.
Yeah, we know that. Watch it on the YouTube channel. We discussed that. We all understood that. You conveyed that.
Sorry, I missed it, but thank you.
Yeah, you bet.
All
Okay,
right.
moving on.
Okay, thank you.
By Fisherman's Wharf, cold lips, open, waterlogged, frozen codfishes. By Fisherman's Wharf, cold lips, open, waterlogged, frozen codfishes.
Yeah.
Okay. Is the situation clear?
Frozen codfish.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So we're, yeah, I mean, evidently we're seeing the fish that have recently been caught for on the what do you call it, on the table or the shelf, whatever, for sale, probably on ice with their lips open.
And waterlogged.
Right. Now, tell me about that. What does waterlogged mean?
Kind of frozen.
No.
Wrinkled, right?
No.
damaged.
Waterlogged
No.
is when something soaks up water. Like if you drop your towel or your parka overboard in a boat, right? It gets full of water. It soaks up water.
Oh.
Right. Now, will a fish really soak up water like that?
No.
No. If it is, don't buy it. That's just, Yeah, that's going to be awful. I mean, when they pull bloated corpses, this is famous in New York, when the mafia whacks people and they pull the bloated corpse out of the East River. Well, that's waterlogged. So that's hopefully the fish that are for sale at Fisherman's Wharf are not waterlogged. So that bit needs some work. Sorry, someone?
How can a human be waterlogged and not the fish?
Fish are built to be in the water.
Water?
They got scales, and I mean, maybe if it's dead long enough, then its protections start to break down. This is gross. I don't want to talk too much about
Okay.
this, but in any case, but I can tell you why that word waterlogged is there, even though it's inaccurate. Because this person was going 5 syllables, 7 syllables, 5 syllables. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So once again, oh, Yehudit, I think you missed this. I'm not going to accept any damn haikus with 575 anymore, because people get themselves into trouble with it every time. Okay. And it's a distraction. It's a distraction from really what the spirit of haiku is about. Okay. So
Okay, it's my very first time.
yeah. But
Thank
that's
you.
why we're all here learning. So yeah, I love, it's a terrific image here. I really love this image. They always have those lips. Oh, do they actually have lips?
Oh, mouth.
No. In fact, fish lips is a joke. That's like fish lips and chicken hips. Right?
Never heard that
I
one.
thought bass had lips.
I don't know. I'd have to look up a picture of cod, but but it's kind of proverbially, it's like a rabbit's horn. But there's so much going on. Do you really, the eyes are always open. I mean, that's always very haunting. The eyes of those dead fish looking at you as you're thinking about eating them. So it's a terrific image, and there's a lot of different ways you could write it. Let's move on. Sunset at the beach, a sesame seed stuck in that tooth. Sunset at the beach, a sesame seed stuck in that tooth. Okay, right away, just like that other, whoops, where'd it go? As with that other one, I want to add a dash here.
Uh-huh.
You see how that isolates the first line a little, because the second and third lines have to be a little closer together.
Right.
Sunset at, the other punctuation mark that's used a lot in haiku is the ellipses. That's a favorite, because that trails off. That gives you a little puff of silence. Whereas a dash is more like sudden, more like, and ellipses are like, okay, more spreads out. Sunset at the beach, a sesame seed stuck in that tooth.
The word "that"
Yeah.
bothers me,
Uh-huh.
but I don't know how I'd replace it.
Uh-huh. Why do you think it's there? What do you think the poet had in mind?
Well, a particular tooth, obviously.
Hmm?
But
Anyone here ever get stuff stuck in your tooth?
One tooth in particular. Yes.
One tooth in particular, which we call that tooth.
that tooth.
That tooth. Okay, so this one's
Yeah.
mine. This
Yeah.
one's mine. And this is what I had in mind here with that, you know, and in the earlier drafts of it, I had, you know, stuck in that same tooth. But I wanted to make it shorter. Maybe I went too short. So, you know, what I was hoping here was that this word that would convey, would suggest, oh yeah, there's that tooth, you know, that one again. And another version I tried, stuck in that tooth again, right? So again, it's the process. You work the trade-offs. Is it worth making it longer? Do we need to go a little bit longer to make it clear? But what's the basic dynamic in this one? I mean, the situation is clear. We're at the beach at sunset. We got a sesame seed stuck in a usual tooth. What makes this a haiku moment if it is one?
I was thinking if there was a connection between the sunset and a sesame seed stuck in a tooth. So maybe the sun is that seed stuck in the tooth of the sky once again. Kind of the first connection I was making.
Interesting.
I see it as more of an annoyance. There you
Yeah.
are, sunset at the beach, beautiful.
Yeah.
Something stuck
Yeah.
in your tooth.
Everything's fine. Life is good, right? Life is bliss. Gee, just like all the great spiritual teachers, Jesus and Buddha, everyone said everything's fine. We're living in the kingdom of heaven here. Wow, just look at that beautiful sunset, like God's smiling her benediction upon us. And then, fucking sesame seed stuck in my tooth again, right? That's called life.
Yeah.
That's called life. And haiku, I've mentioned this before, haiku often work with contrast. There's a big thing and a small thing. In this case, the sunset is big, it's huge, it's the size of the sky and the ocean, right? And then the seed is the small thing, but notice how it's like your attention is just expanding into this huge, beautiful, wonderful thing. And this one tiny little thing, as you say, Louisa, that's the annoyance, and that distracts you from it.
Momentarily.
Say it again.
Momentarily.
Momentarily, yeah, until you get that out. And then once you get that out, then you go, life is good. Right, now life is good until the next thing, right? Then you realize, you've been at I should have gone to the bathroom before we came down to the beach. Now my bladder is full, right? That's life, that contrast between the two.
There's a nice mirroring going on between the first and the last line. Sunset at the beach, stuck in that tooth.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't even notice that. Sunset at the beach, stuck in that tooth. Yeah, and both starting with the S. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And both somewhat of an action. Sunset is an action, stuck is an action.
Yeah. Well, it's not really an action. It's a noun.
Right.
It's a situation.
Garen.
Yeah.
Is it technically a Garen?
No, it's a noun. When it's the two words, like that's a noun.
It's
a noun. It's a noun. But I didn't realize it. In haiku, you want to look out for that stuff. Sometimes if you realize, it's really a nice balance. There's this, echoing of the consonant sounds or something, then you change it to get rid of that. Because sometimes it may be too, where another kind of writing you'd want that here, it may be too symmetrical, it may be too pretty. In this case, I think it works. And that's it. That's what we got today. This was an earlier version of one that we don't need to go into. Okay.
Neat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So stuff's talking to you, you get, it's really, I hope you're having fun. I'm having fun doing this week by week, and people, getting deeper into the sense of what these things are about, and how they work, how you do it. It's an experiential thing. Yeah. Good.
Thank you.
I'm
Okay.
enjoying it. I'm learning a lot.
Mm-hmm. Good.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. So I'm gonna go. I have to go edit a book. So
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, everyone.
Right.
May all beings be happy. ASAP.
That's a haiku.
Take care.